third straight year, not only lost at home, lost as a favorite, and was outplayed in the fourth quarter at Lambeau. Look at the numbers. Not good. Mahomes isn't getting outplayed. Burrow not getting outplayed. Josh Allen, they're not getting outplayed at home 3 years in a row. This is what he now is. 1 year can be an aberration. 2, not sure. 3 is reality. He has been outplayed by Jared Goff, by an old Brady, by Jimmy Garoppolo. 3 straight years, fourth quarter at home. Add to the fact Green Bay's been walking on eggshells for years. Add to the fact this organization moved up to see if Jordan Love could be their future. Look at the box score last night. Green Bay had 17 first downs. Jordan Love can do that. Green Bay was 4 for 12 on third down. Jordan Love can do that. They averaged 5 yards a play. Detroit averaged more. And Detroit's defense is terrible. Jordan Love can do that. Aaron finished 15th in passer rating. He's not close to Mahomes or Josh Allen as a talent. He's not nearly as big and strong as Herbert. He's not even in the same galaxy right now as Joe Burrow situationally. It's time for a grown-up conversation. It's always talking about manifesting this, and he's out there, man. He's out there. And he's not committed in the offseason anymore. Mahomes is, Burrow is, Herbert is. He's now 39, and it feels like the team is second in the offseason. It's time for the grown-up talk. I mean, folks, I'm looking at his numbers last night. He got outplayed by Jared Goff, 17 of 27, 200 yards, a TD, and a pick. Jordan Love can do that. It doesn't cost you anything. The best 2 drives of the night for a quarterback, Jared Goff, who can struggle in cold weather, the best 2 drives of the night were Jared Goff's at the end of that game with brilliant offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. Fourth quarter, Goff had a 13-play drive, 8-minute touchdown, 8-play drive, gobbled up clock, 3.5 minutes. You know what Aaron did in the fourth? Had an awful pick. Oh, he had another one, but that was called back due to a Detroit penalty. That was a bad pick. That was a pick that if Jordan Love had in his first year starting late in the game, you'd get, well, he's a kid. This whole thing about dead cap. Oh, what will the Packers do with the dead cap? Well, they're not paying Jordan Love anything. So it's not nearly as punitive. And I went and looked it up this morning. Here I've got the dead cap situation. Absolutely, Green Bay can navigate it. Now, they won't get the draft picks if they move Aaron this year in this draft, but they'd get him in next draft. You have to move him after the draft. You can move him anytime in the summer. Every bit of that dead cap situation, you can navigate. That's what the league does. People manipulate the salary cap. They've been doing it for years, the smart teams. But I tend to be a believer. I always have. Rip the Band-Aid off. Give me the bad news. Let's go. Let's not sit around, everybody teeth clenched, walking on eggshells. It's an unhealthy relationship. And here's the other thing, is that Green Bay's roster is very good. They've got about 2-3 needs. They could use another edge rusher. But what they need is another receiver and another tight end. And if you look at mock drafts, that's what they're going to do. They're going to go get a receiver in the first 2 rounds and a tight end in the first 2 to 3 rounds. Well, Aaron doesn't really want to work with them in the offseason. Burrow would, Mahomes would, Allen would, Herbert would, Trevor Lawrence would. Aaron doesn't want to. So they don't have many needs. I mean, they really don't. It's a really good football roster. They moved into the offensive line last year. They'll probably go get another tackle in the 4th, 5th, 6th round probably. But they need another receiver. It can't just be Christian Watson, Allen Lazard, and cross your fingers. And they need another tight end. Those guys have to work with a quarterback. OTAs, summer. Aaron's not committed to that. So you're going to be back in the same place. And by the way, San Francisco's getting better. Philadelphia is getting better. Kansas City, Cincinnati, Buffalo. These teams are getting better. Jacksonville. The league's pulling away. I don't think Green Bay and Aaron are on the same timeline. This is not an anti-Aaron rant. I was the first guy 8 years ago that said I don't like his body language. I think he's selfish. I think he's a bailer, not a baller. He's not good in fourth quarters. He's not good trailing. But that's not the issue today. The issue is timeline. You know, I don't think the timelines matter. Here's Aaron after.
At some point, the carousel comes to a stop, and it's time to get off. And I think you kind of know when that is. And that's what needs to be contemplated. Is it time? Also, what's the organization doing? It's part of it as well. But like I said, I feel good about what I've accomplished in this league, and wouldn't have any regrets walking away. But I got to see what it feels like once I get away from this.
Well, of course you'd have regrets. Your last 3 years, you got outplayed at home by Jared Goff, Jimmy Garoppolo, and an old Tom Brady. Be honest about it at least. Of course you'd have regrets. This is not the way you wanted it to end. I don't even know if Jordan Love can play. I really don't. Last couple times I've seen him, looks like he's getting better. I know this. If they let him start, that's a really good supporting cast for a young quarterback. They got a good team. They got a good roster. They got good players. Like every team, they've got 3 or 4 things they could use, but I worry about one of those things is a wide receiver. And they didn't want to work with these wide receivers. That's why I didn't click until December. Here's Aaron. He was asked if the Packers are even interested in bringing him back.
Has the organization indicated to you in any way whether they want you back or not?
To assume it's a foregone conclusion, would be probably slightly egotistical. So I'm going to be a realist here and understand that there's a lot of different parts to this. And like I said, I was aware of, the possibility of them going young if we had gotten to a point where we were out of it. And I'm aware of that possibility as well.
Reasonable answer. I don't think they're anti-Aaron. I think they tolerate Aaron. But for all the walking on eggshells, I think Green Bay wants a bigger payoff. And that happens to a lot of companies. You like somebody, there's some issues with it, they're getting older. Well, what's the payoff? Well, if the payoff is getting outplayed at home by Jared Goff, Jimmy Garoppolo, and an old Tom Brady, then it's not worth what they go through. And they go through a lot. To be great at anything, you have to be committed. You can't show up to NBA training camp out of shape or you get injured. Like Burrow's committed in the offseason. Mahomes is committed. Allen's committed. Herbert's committed. The young guns at Jalen Hurts is committed. He came back all yoked up. Aaron, I'm going to a retreat. I'm not anti-retreat guy, but I am when I'm paying you $50 large. By the way, Aaron was asked, could you walk away from the, $59 million you still have on the contract?
Could you really walk away from that contract? I mean, that's an enormous amount of money, and you guaranteed it, I'm assuming, for a reason. You asked for it to be guaranteed for a reason.
Yes. Money is energy, and I have made a ton of it, and I'm very thankful for this organization, the generational wealth that they've offered me. Hopefully feel like that I've earned a lot of it. But, yeah, for sure. I can definitely walk away from that.
Oh, boy, money is energy. Oh, boy. Yeah, go to my bank. Hey, I'd like to take out, $20 million in energy. Excuse me? Yeah, money is energy. Too many retreats, too much ayahuasca. Listen, if he can turn down $59 million, he's a greater man than me. I don't think I could. But Green Bay's timeline and Aaron's timeline just feel different. He wants to spend offseason doing his things. Part of me respects that. I appreciate his authenticity. I appreciate his honesty. He knows when he says stuff like that, he'll get pushed back.